You think the end of a marriage is the end of your story, but the data tells a different story. 86% of people find love again, but why did it break in the first place? Was it the bedroom or the board meeting? Most people ignore the silent signals that actually cause a split. 99% miss the last part, and if you do, you're doomed to repeat the same mistakes in your next chapter. Thin slicing. Have you ever walked into a room and felt the tension so thick you could almost see it? In our lab, we call this thin slicing. Within the first 7 seconds of watching a couple interact, we can often predict the trajectory of their entire relationship. It's not about the big blowout fights you see in movies, it's about the micro expressions that flicker across the face when one partner is talking and the other is supposedly listening. When we talk about divorce, we are often talking about a long-term failure in these tiny, high-stakes social signals. Most people think they are hiding their unhappiness, but their bodies are leaking the truth every single day. One of the most dangerous signals we look for is the one-sided mouth pull, the micro-expression of contempt. In the science of people, contempt is the single greatest predictor of divorce. It's a signal of superiority. It says, "I am better than you," or "your opinion doesn't matter." When this becomes the baseline of your communication, the foundation of the marriage begins to rot. You aren't just having a disagreement, you are socially deleting your partner. This is why 86% of people eventually remarry, because we are biologically wired for connection, but we often lack the social intelligence to maintain it the first time around. We've analyzed thousands of hours of footage of couples in conflict, and the ones who make it aren't the ones who never fight. They are the ones who know how to use micro repairs. A micro repair is a tiny gesture, a shared look, a soft touch on the arm, or a quick joke that de-escalates the tension before it hits a breaking point. Most people ignore these opportunities because their ego is too loud. They want to win the argument. But in a marriage, if one person wins, the relationship loses. To avoid the statistics, you have to master the art of the repair. You have to be more interested in rapport than in being right. When a marriage ends, many people feel like they've failed a test. But if you look at the people science, you realize that a split is often just the final result of cognitive dissonance. You're acting like a partner, but your internal signals are broadcasting stranger. This creates a massive amount of internal friction. The 86% who remarry are often looking for a reset, but unless they change their nonverbal brand, they will just bring the same social dust into the next relationship. You have to do the internal work to become a resonant vessel before you can successfully anchor yourself to someone else again. Biological loops. Does sex cause divorces? It's a question we get all the time in the lab. The answer is both simpler and more complex than you think. Sex itself is rarely the cause, but it is the ultimate signal. It's the biological loop that keeps two people synchronized. When a couple stops connecting physically, they aren't just losing pleasure, they are losing the oxytocin window. Oxytocin is the cuddle hormone, the biological glue that lowers cortisol and builds deep, unshakable trust. Without that regular surge of bonding chemicals, the relationship moves from intimate to transactional. Most men and women ignore the science of the afterglow. Research shows that the 10 minutes following intimacy are actually more important for long-term stability than the act itself. This is when the brain is most plastic and open to connection. If you turn away or check your phone, you are sending a micro-rejection cue that is processed in the same part of the brain as physical pain. Over time, these small wounds create a wall of silence. The divorce happens in the mind years before the papers are signed. It's a slow withdrawal of presence. We also have to look at vocal resonance. In high-rapport couples, partners naturally match each other's vocal pitch and tempo during intimacy. This is neural coupling. When this synchrony breaks down, the soundtrack of the marriage becomes discordant. You start to sound like two people who don't belong in the same room. This is why sex is often cited in divorce cases, not because of the mechanics, but because the lack of it signals a total biological disconnect. You are no longer co-regulating each other's nervous systems. You are two sails blowing in different directions. Remarriage is so common, that 86% figure, because our bodies crave that biological anchor. We need someone whose frequency matches ours to feel safe in the world. But here is the brutal truth. You cannot hack intimacy if you don't have internal sovereignty. If you are using physical connection to fill a value gap in your own soul, it will eventually fail. True intimacy is the overflow of two whole people. It's the halal of the heart, a connection based on purity of intention and mutual respect. When you move from taking to witnessing, the biological loop becomes a source of infinite energy. Status games. In every relationship, there is an invisible status map. Most people ignore this because it feels unromantic. But in the science of people, power dynamics are everything. A marriage often breaks when the status balance becomes skewed. If one partner feels socially deleted or minimized, they will eventually look for an exit. This isn't about who makes more money, it's about social capital. It's about who feels heard, who feels valued, and who occupies the most presence in the room. When the status game becomes zero-sum, the marriage is in the danger zone. We've studied high-status, high-warmth leaders, and the same principles apply to marriage. The most successful partners are those who know how to lift their partner's status. They use high-warmth cues like the eyebrow flash of recognition or active constructive responding when their partner shares good news. If you kill the joy when your partner succeeds, you are playing a low-status game of envy. This creates limbic friction. Your partner's brain registers you as a threat rather than a secure base. This is a primary driver of the 86% remarriage cycle, people leaving a suppressor to find a multiplier. Think about your frontal heart fold. When you are in a disagreement, do you angle your body away? Do you cross your arms? These are blocking cues. They signal that you are guarded and closed. In a healthy relationship, even during a fight, partners maintain a level of orientation toward each other. They are signaling, I disagree with your words, but I am still present for your person. When you lose that orientation, you lose the connection. You become options to each other rather than necessities. And in the modern world, options are easily replaced. To avoid the divorce trap, you must practice status fluidity. This means being comfortable enough in your own skin to lower your status when your partner needs to shine. It's about confident humility. If you are always trying to be the smartest or strongest person in the marriage, you are creating a fortress that your partner can't enter. A luxury relationship is one where both people feel like the main character. By mastering your social IQ, you can create an environment where status is shared rather than contested. This is the foundation of a legacy connection. Predictable reliability. The fourth chapter of this people science is the blueprint of trust. In our lab, we define trust as predictable reliability. It's the knowledge that your partner will send the same safety cues tomorrow that they sent today. Divorce experts often see a breakdown in predictability long before the end. It's the small betrayals, the forgotten promises, the vocal thinness when asked a question, or the ghosting of a text message. These are inconsistency cues. They tell the brain that the environment is no longer safe. When the brain feels unsafe, it moves into survival mode. You stop looking for connection and start looking for protection. This is when vulnerability loops stop closing. In behavioral science, a vulnerability loop is a two-step process. You share a micro-vulnerability, and your partner signals acceptance. If you share a fear and your partner responds with contempt or apathy, the loop stays open. An open vulnerability loop is like a neural wound. If you have too many of these, the attachment system simply shuts down to prevent further pain. This is the point of no return. The 86% who remarry are often those who have learned the hard way the value of integrity. Integrity is simply when your internal truth matches your external cues. If you say, I love you, but your body language is cold, you are lying to your partner's nervous system. They might not be able to explain it, but they will feel the dissonance. To build a marriage that lasts, you must be congruent. Your word must be your bond. This predictable excellence is the most luxurious trait a partner can have. It provides the quiet that the soul needs to thrive. I encourage you to practice vigilant attunement. This means being a master of the details. Notice when your partner's vocal pitch changes. Notice the micro expressions of sadness or fatigue. When you witness these tiny signals and respond with warmth, you are performing a micro repair on the relationship. You are sealing the gates against the social dust of the world. This level of presence is rare, and because it is rare, it is irresistible. It's the reason why some couples seem unstoppable, because they are in sync on a cellular level. Second chances. Now we come to the last part, the truth that 99% of people miss. Why is the remarriage rate so high? It's because the human spirit is anti-fragile. We don't just recover from divorce, we reorganize at a higher level of complexity. The 86% are not just trying again, they are applying the science. They have felt the pain of disconnection, and they are now hungry for authenticity. But the danger is rebound synchrony, choosing someone who is the opposite of your ex rather than someone who is aligned with your values. To succeed in a second marriage, you must move from personality to character. Personality is the glam, it's the charm, the humor, and the surface level vibe. Character is the foundation. It's the moral compass, the discipline, and the integrity. Most first marriages are based on personality matching. Most successful second marriages are based on character alignment. When you find someone whose internal code matches yours, the social friction disappears. You are no longer performing, you are being. This is the end of the search. The 86% statistic is a message of hope, but it is also a call to discipline. You cannot wait for the right person to appear. You must become the person that the right person is looking for. This is self-signaling. If you want a partner of high value, you must broadcast a frequency of excellence. This means mastering your senses, your emotions, and your actions. When you are whole and sovereign in your own life, you stop chasing love and start attracting it. You become a station of light. The final truth of divorce and remarriage is that the real marriage is the one you have with yourself. If you are at war inside, you will create a battlefield outside. But if you find peace in your own stillness, you will find a partner who mirrors that peace. The science of people is just a tool to help you decode the world, but the spirit is what drives the machine. When you align your internal weather with the universal laws of truth and morality, you find a connection that no statistic can measure. You find home. True connection is the moment when your internal light is so bright that it reflects off the person standing in front of you, creating a world of peace and clarity. It's the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you are living in alignment with your highest self and that the person by your side is doing the same. When you find that center, you find a truth that is unshakable and a beauty that is eternal. You don't have to search for it, you just have to be it. And the right heart will recognize your frequency and stay in sync for a lifetime. Be honest, did this speak to you too? Which silent signal did you miss in your past that you're finally ready to see now?